Hey everyone, Neilz Gaming here with the first episode of the Formula 1 series. Again, on this channel we're going to discuss various sports, various games, so if you're interested in that, sit back and relax, maybe hit that subscribe button and that like button. But in this video we're going to have a look and talk about the Saudi Arabia Grand Prix. An explosive Grand Prix, if I do say so myself. Please don't ban me just yet. Thank you very much. We're going to have a look at the high and the low lights of the race. Talk about the losers and the winners as well. Obviously the main winner is Max Verstappen. Main loser maybe is Lewis Hamilton, but Alonso as well. We're gonna have a look at all of that in just a bit. Just FYI, I recorded the race, chose to pick out some of the best and the worst moments to discuss. Obviously discuss everything in the comments down below, but keep it civil. So let's dive into this. Alright, so first order of business is the start from Lewis Hamilton on the hard tires. You can see very good start compared to most of the other drivers out there, especially with the type of tires that he was riding with at the start of the race. Then we have the new Chinese guy, Zhao Ganyu, probably butchered the name, but hey, he has the same problem, he says, at the start of the race. Started very slowly, but I'm very impressed to see that although this is a start, he managed to pick out the right button and start screaming in the microphone. Very well played. And now I want to jump to these two right here, the Alpine, Ocon and Alonso. We're gonna see this a long time in this video. Both of them going at it. Right now they're 6th and 7th. That means that Ocon 8 points, Alonso 6 points, which means that Alpine would have gained, if you're good at math, they would have gained 14 points from this race if it stayed like this. Now if you followed the race, you know that Alonso did not finish, which means 6 points, garbage. Now this is extremely dangerous from Ocon. Should have let Alonso pass, didn't happen. A couple of laps after, they're still going at it. I'm sure the Alpine bosses might not have been that happy, because when you race that hard at the start of the race, you're using your tires much faster, especially much faster than the guys behind you, which are Bottas and Magnussen. Surprisingly, Haas, Magnussen, obviously Mick Schumacher isn't racing in this race because of the huge crash during qualifiers, but Haas, which is Haas Ferrari, which means that they have the Ferrari engine, which is also why they are performing this year. But I'm very happy for Haas and especially for Günther, because who doesn't like Günther, right? Effing wankas. Anyways, they continue the fight here. Ocon, Alonso still going at it, still burning their tires, still stressing out their whole team. Continues like this. This is lap 6, by the way, yeah? This is lap 6. If this was happening lap 45, 46, then fine, I would understand. But at the start of the race, not very smart. Lap 7, a bit of the same, still going at it. Bottas probably enjoying to see what happens. By the way, at the top there's still Perez, Leclerc, Verstappen and Sainz, nothing changed. But right now Alonso took over Ocon. Finally something good happens there, but Ocon is not letting go of his spot, still fighting extremely hard for the 6th and 7th place. In the meanwhile, you will see the Alfa Romeo of Valtteri Bottas right behind them, and in just a couple of laps you might see him go past one of the pink cars. So this is here what happens. Alonso on the right, Ocon on the left. Right overtake, great stuff. This was very close, could have gone very bad for both of them. You see here, a little tap at the rear and it's game over for both of them. Lap 8. we do the same exact thing, but he had to cut a corner, so obviously he will get the place back from Ocon, but look what happens. Usually if you're a teammate, you give your spot back right away. But since Bottas is here right behind them, he waits until he finds a good space to give the space back to Alonso. Now, what will happen here is this. We're gonna see a replay, but he's still not giving away his spot until you will see at the end of the lap, he will slow down a little bit, but not that much. Jumping to Leclerc and Perez of Verstappen. Basically, he said pit to overtake, which means if the other guy pits, you don't pit. And this is exactly what happens. Perez pitted, Verstappen, Leclerc stays out. And unfortunately for Perez, which was, well, it's just bad luck. Because a couple of seconds after that, this happens right here. Yellow flag, Latifi in the wall, which means that he pitted 15 seconds too early. Because right now, Verstappen, Leclerc, Sainz, everybody can pit under the yellow flag. And most likely the safety car, which took a long time. This switch right here, you saw Verstappen go out, Sainz go in. Not much to be said about, but the real story starts after this, when Sainz goes out of the pit and Perez overtakes him, which you will see in a couple of seconds or so, that, well, he gives the spot back after the safety car. You can see Perez on the right, goes out, you will see in the replay in just a bit. Sainz here is complaining. You can see that he's just a little bit in front of Perez, not that much. So Sainz complains on the radio, and this is the restart, green flag. Max, as always, extremely close to Leclerc for the restart. Very, very good restart for Leclerc, because you can see here the difference. The gap is there, which is fine for a restart. Perez here is still third, but he will give away his spot in just a bit to Sainz. Got told on the radio. Then it's Russell, Magnussen. I believe it's still Russell, or maybe it's Hamilton, because Hamilton still hasn't pitted yet, and you have to pit at least once during the race, which you will see in just a couple of seconds the disaster that happened. So yeah, it's Russell, Magnussen, Hamilton, Alonso, Hülkenberg, and then the rest. Right now Perez has given away his spot, so we're all good to go. Alright, and this, just to show you the power of the Haas. Look at this. DRS enabled, bye bye Mercedes, thank you very much, and the Haas takes over. This was never going to happen last year or 2 years ago, but doesn't really matter that much, because eventually Lewis came back, took over the spot. But like I said before, Lewis still has not pitted, so eventually Magnussen will take back his spot. This is Esteban Ocon taking back the spot, and this is Max complaining about Leclerc. I believe this was the white line. Yes, you see, you cannot drive over the white line before the pits. So this is what he's going to say right now. Yeah, so you cannot cross the white line. I believe he did it twice during the race. Didn't really get penalized for it. Shouldn't really get penalized for it. Anyways, this is Alonso, the first pink car. Engine issues with something, can't accelerate. And problem number 2, Daniel Ricciardo is stuck as well. And now this is extremely funny, because if this happened maybe 4 corners earlier, there would have been less of an issue with the closing of the pits. But since he's going to stop right in front of the pits, this is going to be an issue. They're going to close the pits, but 2 cars will be able to go in. 1 car will miss the pits. You might have guessed it. It's a silver arrow. It's a Mercedes car. Lewis Hamilton missed the pits. You will see that in a bit. But yeah, I don't know. It's bad luck to have both cars like this stuck, and yeah, you can't go pit your car, you can't change your tire, can't do anything. So pink car, Alpine, orange car, McLaren. Ricardo Alonso out of the race right now. Tough luck, virtual safety car, lap 39. Lewis would have loved to pit here, but unfortunately as you will see right here, his
Can't slow down.
radio can't slow down, should pit, box, but there is no box, he just went by the pit stop. Anyways, he couldn't even enter, I believe, because the pits were closed. Right now, green flag, track clear, Hamilton, you can go box as soon as possible. They're getting ready for him, so he's obviously going to box. Now, still fighting up front, Leclerc, Verstappen, Sainz, Perez. Verstappen with the fastest lap, which means 1 extra point, if that says its way. Lewis pit stop, not that great, took longer than expected, 3.9 seconds, too slow. Okay, first fight here. Leclerc, Verstappen goes through, DRS enabled, perfect, right? He's now number 1 with the fastest lap, which means 26 points. But then this happens. Leclerc with the DRS, because this is exactly what happens with this track. You've got so much speed, DRS enables, you take over 1 turn too early, and this is exactly what happens. But you will see what happens in the next couple of laps. This is lap 43, right? This is the replay. As you see, nobody really wants to overtake before that turn. Unfortunately, Max screwed up a little bit here because he brakes way too hard. Leclerc says, screw it, you just braked way too hard, you lost some speed, I'm gonna speed up, you can't catch me on the straight. Lap 46. This happens again. Less braking though, so Max waits and waits and waits, and then attacks. DRS enabled, and he goes right through. Lap 47 now, so 4 laps remaining. He takes the lead. By the way, in the meantime, Magnussen is now 9th, Hamilton 10, which is just 1 point, but Magnussen took over Hamilton's spot because Hamilton obviously pitted. Now, Perez has the fastest lap. Is that going to stay this way? Who knows, we'll have to wait. But in the meantime, this race is not over, 4 laps left. Those two here are still going at it and going at it extremely fast. By the way, this camera is honestly amazing. The camera angles from this season are honestly incredible. Now, very, very crucial, look at this. Lap 49, yellow flag on the straight here. Green flag, but it's gonna turn yellow in just a second. So you see, yellow flags. If it wasn't a yellow flag, Leclerc probably would have used DRS and might have overtaken Verstappen. Didn't happen, tough luck. Verstappen stays number 1 and wins the race. Also, during the yellow flag, Leclerc did increase his speed, so the gap between them decreased, which is also something that Verstappen complained about. But hey, he won the race, so doesn't really matter much. So to conclude, honestly, I don't like this circuit. I think it's a very, very dangerous one. And to be honest, if you're the faster car, it doesn't really matter. If you're a more skilled driver, doesn't really matter, because speed here will win the race. Yes, if you have a little bit less speed, but more skills, that might help you. But if the gap speed skill is so big, doesn't really matter. I don't like the track. I much rather have a Japanese track, which we're gonna have this year, thank God, in October. I don't like this one. I don't like Monaco as well. I think those two tracks are useless, to say the least. Monaco, if you're on pole, you probably win the race unless you end up in a wall. But overall, the winners here, obviously Ferrari, Red Bull, losers, Alpine, especially Alonso, and yeah, Mercedes, Hamilton as well, with just that 10th spot, 1 point, which is better than 0. Overall, I would like to know your thoughts on this race down in the comments below, your predictions for the season as well, all of that down in the comments below. If you want to see more from this channel, hit that subscribe button, and if you like this type of videos, leave it a thumbs up, and I see you all in the next video. Bye bye.